Hi everyone, I'm Joanne Smith, founder of Wordsmith Project. I'm really excited to share something special with you today, a world of opportunities that you absolutely can't miss out on. And in this video, I'll not only tell you about these incredible opportunities to generate more revenue, but also how to find these opportunities yourself. Today I'm joined by Abid from Zems Academy, who are a training provider. I've helped Abid with multiple bids and grant applications, and together we've had success in both. Hi Abid.
Hi.
So tell us a little bit about yourself and your business and how we came to work together.
My name's Abid Ali. I'm based in the Midlands and I run a private education business where we provide training for individuals who are looking to upskill themselves into new careers. Currently we have quite a few locations around the country. We've grown at a steady pace, and one of the ways that we got to know you was because we wanted expansion. And we wanted to divulge into the funding system where most of my business currently is on a commercial line basis. So we wanted to get into the ESF funding, the government funding, the National Lottery funding, and we wanted to give back to the community, because one of our key things when we originally set up was to give back to our community. When I say community, I don't mean community as in the Asian community, I mean the community around my area. So everybody in my community.
And what sort of training courses do you deliver? What are your specialisms?
Okay, so we start off with sort of basic stuff like food safety qualifications for people in the hospitality industry. So your everyday waiters and your kitchen staff and so forth. To extents of we do things like CP training, security related. So we do sort of security guard, door supervisor, CCTV operator, and CP courses for close protection bodyguard. Sort of early beginners, where people can get their foot into the door into a new career. So it's basically for very low-skilled individuals within our community who are finding things difficult. So we wanted to be a hub where they could come to, where we could upskill them and provide them a service where they could actually better themselves and develop themselves.
That's amazing. And generally, how many people do you get through your door?
Currently, at one of our locations, we approximately have about 100 people walking through the door on a weekly basis. Right, Joe, so you've been working with us for quite some time now. Can you tell me, what is a bid?
Well, a bid really is a buyer wanting a formal proposal from you, your business, that basically shows them how you're going to deliver the product or service that they require. And essentially it will be made up of two key elements, which are a set of technical questions, which will ask you how you're going to deliver the service, and a pricing document. How much is it going to cost? And that's it in its very simplest terms. So Abid, how long have you actually been tendering for new contracts?
So as a business, we've been tendering for the last 8 years. We've had some very good successful times.
So Abid, what was it like when you first discovered bidding? Were you a rabbit caught in the headlights, or were you like, yes, let's go for this?
Felt like it was a minefield. Suddenly there's all these organisations screaming out, we want your services. However, there's a big massive barrier in front of you with obstacles. And I'm like, how do we get across these obstacles? They want your services, they're asking for the services, we do it, they're literally down the road from us. Okay, so how do we go and get it? And the obstacles were like, okay, what do they mean by this question? What do they mean by that question? So when we first looked into it, prior to speaking to any bid writers, it was like a minefield. We were like, wow, what do we do? How do we do it?
So did you try it yourself first, and then was that what made you then decide to seek external support?
It would have been out of my comfort zone, and I wouldn't be serving myself justice, and I didn't want to beat myself up any more than I would have beat myself up. So I decided that I need to get someone who understands bids, who knows what bids are, understands the language of the bid language that needs to be written, because there's a particular language that it has to be written in. And, you know, from experience, I've learnt that, whereas before, all I knew was there's a lot of questions that need to be answered. I don't know how to answer these. I can't just say to them, yeah, well, it's a 6-day course and you can do it in 6 days, because that's not sufficient enough. So we needed to present it in a way that a language, even though it's in English and it's very simple, but it had to be in a particular language that people understood, and especially the buyers understood, because from looking at those bids at that time, I remember I joined about 10, 15 platforms, and I was like, wow, everybody wants the same thing.
Do you know where to find bids? I mean, I know obviously since we've worked together, you've now purchased some software that combines all of those bidding websites together. But before that came along, did you know where to look?
So many platforms, and because I had the experience, I knew there was a lot of platforms out there, but it's a minefield out there as well, to be honest.
All of that information is freely available. You've bought some software now that combines all of those websites and platforms together, so you can do one single search. But you don't actually need to pay for that kind of software if you don't want to. You can just register on all of these websites and set up these alerts. So the common ones are Contracts Finder, Public Contracts Scotland, Sell to Wales, Find a Tender, Tender Electronic Daily. There's loads. But the key thing is, all of that information is freely available. You don't actually need to pay to get that information if you don't want. The software that you can pay for, obviously, it streamlines it, doesn't it? Abid, so you've talked about 8 years of tendering since you first started this process. What bids and tenders have really worked for you?
Functional skills. We did a contract for Samwell Council as well as Dudley Council, and we were actually providing functional skills training and tuition to individuals who can't go to school or have problems going to school or have medical needs. What are your top 3 tips for picking out the best opportunities for tendering?
My first tip would always be search for the opportunities for contracts that you can deliver where it's something that you are really good at it and you can demonstrate and prove your capability and your expertise. Absolutely the first top tip. Second top tip, once you've identified that opportunity, is actually review it. So go through the tender documents and just make sure that you meet all the compliance criteria. You don't want to get halfway through pulling a bid together and then realise that you don't have necessary accreditation or certification that you need, because that is just going to derail everything and you've wasted all of that time and resource. Third top tip and final top tip is evaluate the tender and make sure that it's commercially viable, because sometimes you might look at a bid and think, oh yeah, that's great, I can do that and I can price it at this, but then actually you've gone in too cheap and you're not making any profit. So you need to make sure that your commercials marry up with your responses in the technical questions about how you're actually going to deliver the service, because it's as much for you as it is for the buyer. So Abid, what was it like working with Wordsmith Projects and me? And be honest, Feel free.
Joanne's ringing, she wants something. She needs something. No, seriously, it's been fantastic. I get on with her, with you like a house on fire. I consider you as not only a member of our team, a close friend. There's been times where we've had conversations that haven't been about business, and you've been a good friend. And there's been times when we've been talking about our business and you've been a good business support, a good associate, someone we can rely on. You know, having trust with your bid writer is a key element in any relationship anyway. However, having it with your bid writer, that itself is worth millions. Because if you can trust them, then you can trust them to do a good job.
Thank you for joining me today and having this chat with me. So obviously we've touched on a number of different subjects. What is a bid? Where do you find a bid? What are your 3 top tips? And, you know, explored sort of your bid writing journey over the last 8 years. So thank you very much for your time.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you for the invites. All I can say is that continue doing what you're doing. Thank you for all your services and thank you for working with us.
No problem. So there you have it. You now have a better understanding of what bids are and where to find them. Ready to take the next step? Visit my website at www.wordsmithprojects.com for a range of free resources, including guides and cheat sheets. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more helpful content. I look forward to seeing you in the next video.